From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, a spring 2025 anime, adapted from Shigeru Sagasaki's light novel, offers a refreshing take on the fantasy genre by centering on Beryl Gardnant, a middle-aged swordsman whose quiet rural life is upended by his former student's success. Produced by Passion and Hayabusa Film, the series follows Beryl as he transitions from a backwater dojo master to a special instructor for the Royal Order of Knights in the capital. Episode 4, titled The Old Country Bumpkin, takes a flight with a monster, aired on April 27, 2025, and shifts gears into action, pitting Beryl against a griffin-like creature, the Xeno-Garble. I was immediately drawn to the promise of Beryl's legendary swordsmanship in a high-stakes battle, but I'm curious if the episode balances its action with the character-driven depth that defines the series. In this review, I will explore the episode's plot, characters, themes, technical aspects, and emotional impact, offering a nuanced analysis of its successes and shortcomings. Episode 4 sees Beryl Gardnant and his companions, likely including former students like Alucia and Facel, facing a sudden threat from the Xeno-Garble, a griffin-like monster, during their time in the capital. With some allies injured, Beryl steps up to protect them, engaging in a thrilling battle that showcases his masterful swordsmanship. The episode culminates in Beryl not only defeating the creature but also riding it, a feat that underscores his ingenuity and earns further admiration from his students. The narrative reinforces Beryl's growing influence while hinting at larger threats in the capital. Episode 4 advances the series' narrative by thrusting Beryl into a direct confrontation with the Xeno-Garble, a significant escalation from the training-focused episodes prior. This battle serves as a turning point, solidifying Beryl's reputation as the backwater swordmaster and proving his worth in the capital's chaotic environment. The episode fulfills its role in the early arc by showcasing Beryl's adaptability and setting up potential future conflicts, possibly tied to the monster's appearance or underlying magical disturbances. The reprogramming of Beryl's role from rural instructor to urban protector is reinforced, aligning with the series' trajectory of elevating his status. However, the pacing feels slightly uneven. The transition from the group's activities in the capital to the monster's sudden attack may come across as abrupt, potentially leaving viewers wanting more context for the Xeno-Garble's presence. I personally don't understand why the writers didn't include a brief setup, such as a hint of magical unrest, to smooth this shift. While the battle itself is likely well executed, the resolution, Beryl riding the monster, might feel rushed if not given enough time to breathe. The episode raises questions about the capital's safety and Beryl's future challenges, which I anticipate will drive the arc forward, but it doesn't resolve major threads like the Knight's training or political tensions, keeping the focus on immediate action. Beryl Gardnant is the episode's heart, and his confrontation with the Xeno-Garble reveals new layers of his character. His decision to face the monster alone to protect his injured companions highlights his selflessness and sense of duty, traits that contrast with his self-deprecating humor. A moment where Beryl, perhaps with a wry smile, quips about being just an old bumpkin before drawing his sword would encapsulate his humility and confidence, endearing him further to viewers. His ingenuity in riding the creature showcases a blend of skill and creativity, marking subtle growth as he embraces his role in the capital. Alucia and Facel, as supporting characters, likely play secondary roles, with Alucia's concern for Beryl adding warmth to their mentor-student bond. Facel, another former student, may contribute to the battle or post-fight discussions, reinforcing Beryl's lasting impact. However, I'm against the limited focus on these characters, as their perspectives could deepen the emotional stakes. For instance, a brief scene of Alucia reflecting on Beryl's heroism would have added nuance to her admiration. The dialogue is consistent with Beryl's established humility and the student's respect, but I think more varied interactions could have elevated their development. Other characters, like the novice adventurers from episode 3, are likely absent or peripheral, which keeps the spotlight on Beryl but limits the ensemble's depth. The episode explores themes of mentorship, responsibility, and the contrast between rural and urban life, which are central to the series' appeal. Beryl's protective actions during the Xeno-Garble battle embody his responsibility as a mentor, not just to teach but to safeguard his students. This resonates with the series' focus on legacy, as Beryl's past teachings continue to shape his students' lives. The contrast between his rural roots and the capital's magical chaos is highlighted by his ability to handle a creature that urban knights might struggle with, suggesting that traditional skills hold value in a modern world. The theme of adaptability is also prominent, as Beryl navigates a fantastical threat with the same calm competence he applies to teaching. However, I don't think the episode fully capitalizes on these themes' emotional weight, as the action-heavy focus may overshadow introspective moments. A scene where Beryl reflects on his new role could have deepened the narrative, prompting viewers to consider the challenges of stepping into leadership. Still, the themes are effectively conveyed through Beryl's actions, making the episode a compelling exploration of duty and growth. Episode 4 enriches the series world by introducing the Xenogarble, a griffin-like monster that suggests a broader ecosystem of fantastical creatures. This edition hints at magical or environmental factors in the capital, possibly tied to the Adventurers Guild or knightly duties introduced in earlier episodes. The episode also reinforces the capital's bustling, chaotic nature, contrasting with Beryl's rural origins, which adds texture to the setting. However, I didn't like the lack of context about the monster's origins or its significance in the world. A brief mention of why such creatures appear or their connection to the capital's magic could have strengthened the world building. I anticipate future episodes will explore these elements, as the series has potential to delve into the interplay of magic and swordsmanship. The dialogue is functional, with Beryl's lines likely blending humor and wisdom, such as a quip about his age before facing the Xenogarble. His students' dialogue, expressing awe or concern, reinforces their respect but risks falling into cliches like, "Master Beryl, you're incredible." I'm against this reliance on predictable phrases, as more nuanced exchanges could have added depth. The writing excels in the battle's pacing, allowing Beryl's actions to speak louder than words, but post-battle conversations may feel formulaic, focusing on praise rather than introspection. I think the script could have leaned more on subtext, letting Beryl's expressions or silences convey his feelings about his new role. Overall, the writing serves the episode's action-driven goals but misses opportunities for emotional complexity. Episode 4 of From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman is a thrilling chapter that showcases Beryl's swordsmanship and reinforces his role as a mentor. Its strengths lie in its engaging battle, vibrant character moments, and thematic exploration of responsibility and adaptability. The animation shines in action sequences, and Hirata's voice acting brings Beryl to life with charm and gravitas. The introduction of the Xenogarble adds intrigue to the world, setting up potential future conflicts. However, I didn't like the uneven pacing, particularly the abrupt transition to the battle and the reliance on cliché dialogue in some moments. The animation's inconsistencies, noted by some critics, and the limited focus on supporting characters also temper the episode's impact. I think deeper emotional exploration could have elevated the narrative, giving Beryl's triumph more weight. Overall, the episode achieves its goals of advancing Beryl's arc and delivering exciting action, making it a successful addition to the series. I anticipate future episodes will explore the capital's political dynamics and Beryl's relationships with his students, potentially addressing the series' animation critiques. For fans of fantasy anime with a focus on mentorship and action, Episode 4 is a compelling watch, though it may not fully satisfy those craving profound emotional depth.